memories.
But you have good memories too. Well, sweetheart, we don't have a lot of people who are 102. Be happy he's taking the picture.
I said, Hagopik, I said, how did you become an orphan? I said, what happened to you? Well, he says, you know, I live in Merdegöz. Merdegöz is a little village right off of Istanbul, see, like that. And, I said, well, I said, what happened to you? Well, he says, one night, he says, my two policemen came, very courteous, you know, very lovely people, both men, Turkish men, and they said, we need you where the soldiers are, he says, and straighten them out. Well, he says, in that house, he says, I only have a sister, and my sister is married, and the police, he says, they took my father and the police over, and they were going to bring them back. Well, they never came back. And the next morning, we heard that, he says, they have killed them and then thrown them. There was a running water right near that Merdegöz, and their heads were thrown in there. So he says, and then he says, we didn't know anything about it. They didn't come back. And the next morning, the police came again. Get up, get up, get up, leave everything here, leave everything, don't do anything, don't you move over there. Get on the trains, hurry up, hurry up. The whole Merdegöz people, they got them on the train. They said, come on, we have to go. Leave them. We were scared, says we didn't know anything to do. So we all got on the plane. He says, me, and he says, my sisters and her husband, and my mother, the three of us. He says, my mother, my sister. We got on the train. We're going, he says. My sister was in the family way, all right? And then he says, where are you taking us? He says, that's all right, you don't have to worry, we're going to take you, we're going to take you. When we left our house, our buildings, you know, everything that we had, that's all right, you don't need that. All of a sudden, he says, something happened to the train, it's not working, and they told us, you know, in front of the trains there are like some space there that they something happens to the train, they correct the things and they get the people out of the train while they are correcting it. So he says they got us all out of the train and says wait until we until he says we fix this up. So we got out on this little porch or something there, and it's all woods. We are in woods. The train is going through the woods. All of a sudden, says my sister started to, my baby is coming, my baby is coming. He says, one of the soldiers, he says, took a big knife, he says, and cut his stomach lock. And she fell down screaming. My mother, she says, went hysterical, says, what are you doing? And he said, another one came, he said, and like that, my mother's head, through my mother's head on the thing. And he says, I got so scared, I didn't know what. I jumped out of that thing into the woods, and the train went. And then I didn't want to go. I didn't know what was on. For 4 days, he says, I'm walking in the woods. I don't know anybody. I don't know anything. And he says, I started to eat leaves and whatever I could find. Finally, 4 days afterwards, he sees a man, a Turkish man, sitting, old man there, sitting there. He says, come on, son, he says, you're one of the orphans of the Armenian orphan. Yes, yes, he says, I'll make you my son. He's Turkish. I'll make you my son. Come with me. He says, I hadn't eaten anything. I hadn't known anything. And then he took me, he says, now you do what I tell you. And he says, I'll make you my son, and I don't have any children. I'll be very happy. Okay. So he says, only one thing you're going to do. Every morning, you know, they don't have in the woods or places there, they don't have any water nearby. So they have a pump in the middle of the city or outside, and you go and you take your little pails, yes, and then fill them and bring it home. Okay, that's what you'll do. That will be your job. You can have plenty to eat and everything. He says every morning, he says, you take 2 pails to the center where they have the pump, water pump. He says you fill them up and bring them back. That's your job. You can eat plenty and you're my son.